welcome back to another video featuring me, the Chosen One. I hope you're all doing well, and I've got to say, without a doubt, that is probably one of the best trailers I've seen from Star Wars. Not just since Disney took over, but in general. The way that the trailers put together, the tone, the clips they use, they give away quite a lot, but they don't reveal too much. And you get so much detail in such a short space. It's powerful and it's so engaging. Now, from what it looks like, Maul is going to be playing a big role in this season. Now, one thing that is the best thing about the Clone Wars in general was bringing Maul back. A lot of people felt like it was a shoehorn. A lot of people weren't happy with it. I, for one, was happy. It brought in, magic to Star Wars, which was a cool and interesting element with the Night Sisters. But one thing it really did was flesh out Darth Maul's character. Now, for me, Darth Maul will always be one of my favorites, and always has been since I first saw The Phantom Menace as a child. But it wasn't necessarily because of his character development, because, let's be honest, he didn't really have any. But because he was just cool. He was just a cool character with a double-bladed lightsaber, and his entrance was absolutely fantastic. But the Clone Wars really fleshes him out, and that's the greatest thing about the Clone Wars in general, is the way it adds layers upon layers, no pun intended, to characters, who is even background characters that you don't normally see a lot of, even like members of the Jedi or other clones. It adds layers onto them, so when you rewatch Revenge of the Sith, and you see Order 66 go down, you can instill your own kind of imagination and think, Cody has been friends with Obi-Wan for this amount of time. He's also best friends with Rex. And now, when Order 66 is issued, Cody fires the gun at Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan falls down, and then the montage, possibly the saddest sequence of scenes in Star Wars start happening. So, what if there could be potential there for Rex and Cody to go at it? Because remember in Rebels, Rex wakes up in the Clone Wars special episode, mentioning Cody's name, and we don't see Cody in Rebels. So maybe, just maybe, there could be a little plot thread there between them two going at it. We see Jesse going and being tortured by Darth Maul, and that's probably how Darth Maul finds out about the entire thing. We get a good look at the Bad Batch in action. Now, I've watched all of the previs animatics for this season, so I'm hoping we get to see the Bad Batch quite a lot. It's another show that's going to be ending. There's a lot of things that are ending lately. It's just one more thing to add to the mix. We had Arrow, we had Avengers, we had the Skywalker saga. So many things ending, and this is going to be another one of them. But I'm so happy that we get closure. Now, I'm really hoping that we get to see that Cad Bane versus Boba Fett scene, because in my eyes, it adds to Boba Fett massively. Because the way I see Boba Fett, yes, he looks cool, but like Darth Maul, that's it. He just looks cool. He doesn't really do anything. Yeah, I know he takes Han Solo away in Empire Strikes Back, but that's about it. And then he's killed by that same guy when he's blind in the next film. It really adds to his character. And with the addition of the Mandalorian in Star Wars now, Mandalorian overshadows Boba Fett completely. But then again, Jango Fett for me still kind of overshadows them both. I know it's a bit of a controversial opinion. You can disagree with me, it's cool. The only reason I say that is just because Jango takes on all, Jedi, still lives, until Mace Windu, and does a little bit more, not just stand there and look cool. So there is that to consider. Sam Witwer is actually one of the best things in Star Wars, from his addition in The Force Unleashed as Starkiller. And I also want to go on record to say that I'm working on a video where Starkiller should be brought back into the canon, and people say he's overpowered. After the rise of Skywalker, the things that Rey and Kylo were doing, I don't think you can call Starkiller overpowered anymore. I think that's a dead horse. That's kind of done. But Sam Witwer's just amazing in every possible way. Ahsoka is getting fleshed out a little bit more. I'm happy to see that. And what I love about Ahsoka is she's so popular, yet she's never been on the screen. Ever. And hearing her voice in Rise of Skywalker was enough for me to keep, the spirit of Ahsoka alive. Now, does that mean Ahsoka's dead? Does that mean, you know, she's really in tune with the Force, or she's a Jedi again? I'm not too sure. I'm sure that'll be revealed, and they'll work on that in post Return of the Jedi material, like they're doing with the Mandalorian at the minute. This is gonna look like it's gonna tie directly into Revenge of the Sith, my personal favorite Star Wars movie. Now, what's great about this is when you watch this, and then after the season's done, when you re-watch Revenge of the Sith back, you can watch it thinking in the background as something's happening, like Order 66, for example. Thinking, yeah, young Kanan is with his master right now, and the events are unfolding. Or Cal Kestis is with Jara Tapal, and the events are unfolding. Or, you know, while Palpatine is arguing with the senators over the Republic, you've got the Siege of Mandalore taking place. You know, it's all these cool little tie-ins that, you know, you can instill your imagination in, and you can see where it all's gonna go. It looks like it's gonna contain probably the most emotion thus far from the Clone Wars. Now, the Clone Wars has got a plethora of emotional moments. You've got Satine when Darth Maul kills her, or Maul at that point. Then you have Fives, who uncovers the whole plot of Order 66, but everyone thinks he's mental, and then Fox comes along and shoots him. Thanks, Fox. And probably pretty much any death scene. You know, when you lose Heavy, when you lose Master PL, you know, all these people. There's a lot of sad scenes, 99 especially. But I feel like because this is the culmination, this is going to pack quite a punch, and it's going to make us relive Revenge of the Sith again in another way. And from the scene where Mace Windu is saying, you know, I sense a plot to destroy the Jedi, there was actually a deleted scene from Revenge of the Sith where Yoda, Obi-Wan, and Mace were all sat in a chamber, and they were all talking about the plot to destroy the Jedi. And Obi-Wan says there's a massive shift in the Force, they all feel it. But in the film itself, Mace Windu does mention, I sense a plot to destroy the Jedi. So it would be interesting to see different parts of Revenge of the Sith retold in this film. So for example, that scene might be extended on. You know, in the film it ends with Yoda saying, great care we must take. Maybe there's a few more lines of dialogue that they've added in. It can add to Revenge of the Sith. This season is in such a perfect prime position to be one of the greatest seasons of the Clone Wars. And the Clone Wars in general is one of the best animated shows to ever hit the fandom. And that's just me being straight up. Not even just a Star Wars show. This is one of the best shows I've ever laid my eyes on. I think we will ever lay our eyes on. The amount of depth, the amount of characters, the amount of story, the amount of scale, the amount of epic. And even though it's set between episodes 2 and 3, it adds new stuff. Like the Malevolence, for example. It adds new stuff, but it doesn't take away from the movies. It still keeps the movies in powerful light, and if anything, it complements the movies for a lot of people. Now, me being a prequel fanboy, I've always loved the prequels, and nothing's going to change that. And the Clone Wars, for me, just adds to it. But to a lot of people who don't necessarily like the prequels because they don't expand on the characters enough, when there's only so much you can do in a trilogy, I'm just saying, to tell the whole story of Anakin Skywalker, what's great about it is it gives so much depth to the characters, and it makes Anakin's fall to the dark side that much more heartbreaking. You know, instead of just, you know, you've got his mother's death on his conscience, you've got the loss of Padme, and now you've even got Ahsoka involved, Obi-Wan involved. Like, there's so many stakes that lead to that moment in the Force, that shift in the Force when he falls to the dark side and Order 66 happens. And I'm not ready for Order 66 again. I gotta be honest, I'm not ready to see it again, I'm not ready to go through that again. But, you know, all I can say for now is this trailer was awesome. The way it revealed so much, but it didn't give away too much. And I like the tone, I like what they're going for. Seeing Revenge of the Sith stuff again is gonna be great. Young Kanan from Rebels, Ayla Secura standing next to Bly in the hologram chamber. And yeah, I'm just sure it's just going to tie a lot of things together, and it's going to be one giant epic conclusion. And I'm sure it's going to be an emotional roller coaster. Guys and girls, leave your comments down below. Let me know what you thought. What did you think of this trailer? What was your favorite moment? What part of it did you engage with the most? What part really pulled in your heartstrings? And what is probably your favorite moment from the Clone Wars? The support for the latest video has been just insane lately. You know, it's on 200 views now. I can't thank you guys enough. So if you want me to keep doing videos like that, I am fully up for it. It allows me to be a bit more creative and a bit more, you know, creative, more interesting and diverse content, which I'm going to be enjoying doing. So, guys and girls, as I said, leave your comments down below. The Force is with you always. You are one with the Force is with you. And I will talk to you soon. Man, that trailer was so good.